we set ready yet, or?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the November 10th meeting of the Exeter West Greenwich School District. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. Open forum. Is there anything that anyone would like to discuss that is not on the agenda? Okay. Okay, the consent agenda. Jim, do you want to go through the consent agenda for us?
Sure. It's relatively short this evening. We have the approval of minutes from executive session on October 13th and then regular meeting minutes from October 27th. We have our monthly bills and we have 3 homeschool approvals, 2 returning families and 1 new family who have met all of the requirements for approval.
Okay. I need the executive meeting minutes pulled from October 13th. Does anybody else need anything else pulled from the October 27th meeting?
I need the minutes from October 27th pulled because I was absent.
Okay. Any other discussion on the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda less the meeting minutes?
A motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item A, the approval of minutes.
Anybody?
Second.
Cheryl seconded. Okay, roll call vote. Terry,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Diane. Okay, I looked like an aye. Paul,
Aye.
and I am an aye also. And did I miss anybody?
Yeah, me.
Oh, go ahead, Cheryl, sorry.
Aye.
Thank you. So motion is approved. So let's talk about the executive session minutes of October 13th. I believe I'm the only person that wasn't present, so I think we can approve those.
I don't think I was there for that either.
Okay. So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we can vote on that then. We have 4 other people.
Just to be clear, I did take a look at the charter regarding quorums. So I'm not sure if you just need one person, at least someone from each town has to be present.
Correct. And Diane,
Okay.
Cheryl is West Greenwich in this case, and everyone else that could approve it is Exeter.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we're good.
Thank you.
So I'll accept the motion for the executive meeting minutes of October 13th.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor and roll call again. Terry,
Donovan, aye.
Diane Allen. I couldn't hear you, Diane.
She's abstaining.
She's abstaining. Okay.
She was absent.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Okay. The ayes have it. Motion's approved.
Did you have 4 people on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
And 3 approved
I
it
think
and
so.
1 abstained.
I thought if Diane abstained, Lee, you abstained, and I believe did Cheryl abstain as well?
Amy abstained.
Amy abstained. So we have to push that one off. We can't take action on that without a quorum.
Okay. Fair enough.
And that's just for the, well, do you have a quorum? Well,
We
Why don't we put the
we had a
whole-
quorum. We had 4 people that could vote on it. 1 abstained and 3 approved. So how is that not?
If they abstained, then they're not voting on it. I
I
mean,
mean, Amy and I can't vote on it because we weren't there.
And neither was Diane. There were 4 members present for the executive session. One of those members was Claudine Panday, and she's not here tonight.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I thought Diane was there. I'm sorry. Okay, then we don't have a quorum and we can't vote on it. Okay, my apologies. All right, and then the meeting minutes of October 27th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All those in favor? Terry?
Abstain due to absence.
Okay. Amy?
I believe I was absent for that one, so abstain.
Let me see. I gotta look at the, so Claudine, myself, Cheryl, Diane, and Paul. So, okay, so then I still need a motion then because Amy wasn't present. I don't know that she can make the motion.
yeah, I would agree.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Cheryl. So who wants to second that?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, Terry, motion to, let's vote on it. Terry,
Okay. I abstain due to absence.
okay. Cheryl,
Aye.
Diane? Was that an aye? Okay, that was an aye. Paul,
Aye.
and I vote aye also. Meeting minutes of October 27th are approved. Okay, gonna have to look at multiple paperwork here tonight. I'm not used to having to do that. Correspondence. Okay, do we have any questions concerning any of the correspondence? Is there anything anybody wants to discuss? Okay. How about the 2021 budget projection? Bob, you want to talk about that?
Again, the big unknown right now is what's going to happen with state revenue, but other than that, we're doing really well as far as the spending. And we are getting relief for the COVID through the grant opportunities. So I think we're in good shape as we go, but the revenue is going to be the biggie, and everybody knows that. That's just kind of a repeat.
Bob, have they given you any idea when they're going to finalize the revenue? Is that coming soon?
No,
Okay.
they are not.
So, all right. Thanks.
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, I do have a meeting scheduled next week with the governor's office to talk about budget and legislative priorities. So I'm hoping to get some information at that point about a timeline for us.
All right. I think you said timeline for that meeting because you were breaking up, Jim.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a timeline for that at that meeting.
Alrighty, monthly status reports. Are there any questions associated with the monthly status reports?
I have one question.
Bob?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I couldn't find the hand. That's why I didn't use it. Jim, I had a question about the absenteeism, the increased student absenteeism. When the students are quarantined, isn't that excused absence? Or
Yes.
Don't they go directly to distant learning? Or how does-
So it isn't, if they're quarantined, they may actually not be marked absent because we do have the opportunity for them to remote in. If it's an extended quarantine, then they are jumping on one of the distance learning classes if it's an elementary student. If it's a secondary student, those teachers are teaching both groups simultaneously anyway, so they are able to join the class. So if they're well enough to learn, then they have the opportunity to participate, and they're being marked present virtually.
Okay.
So, you know, if we look at our absentee, at the number of students that are marked absent and not participating in learning, it's, you know, we're not looking at a significant change from previous years because of that allowance that we have.
Okay, so this was really discussing what to do about, it wasn't that you were having an issue per se in the district, it's just talking, you're just discussing, you know, all these absences as a result of the guidelines.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, any
All
other
right, I had a
questions associated with the monthly status reports?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Bob, the furnace at Wallome, is there any updates since this morning?
No. I haven't heard from either of the vendors, but I was pivoted towards another area. I'm pretty sure that Steve is going to manage that. For those who don't know, there was supposed to be a meeting of the commissioning agent and the installer today, and at 8 a.m. to kind of go through the final, you know, shakedown of that system, but that didn't happen for whatever reason. It was scheduling on their end. We were all there. So we're just waiting to see for them to reschedule, but I have not heard yet.
It is up and running now.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So this is just to make sure everything, that the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed.
Yeah, and then it really, when the 1-year warranty, the big part is when Stephen Turner Inc. signs off, that's the 1-year start for the warranty. And then that sets up when they'll come back on their 6-month interval and then their yearly sign off, you know, after their year. So it's really it's in everybody's interest to get that done as soon as possible, because right now we're running and the warranty hasn't started yet. You know,
That's an advantage.
yeah, that's our advantage. So.
Okay. Anything else?
I have a question. I'm not so sure it really falls directly under correspondence, but a curiosity as far as our students and other students coming in from other districts, and I know we get revenue from that. Has that been impacted by the current situation? Have we lost expected student count that would normally come in from other districts?
Amy, we can talk about that under unfinished business on the enrollment.
Fair enough.
I just, you know, just so that we're covered properly.
No, it's fine. I'm in a car. I'm trying to follow along and do my best.
No, understood. Okay. Under new business, we have a memorandum of agreement for Small Building Authority, COVID-19 Capital Fund.
Yeah, so this is a document that I've shared, and I even talked about it at the last meeting. The state released $4 million from the School Building Authority Capital Fund to be distributed to districts for small capital projects that were required in order to meet the guidelines for reentry. We are entitled to $14,388. That is roughly the cost of the filtering machines that we had to buy for Wawaloom in order for us to continue to meet the airflow requirements. And in order for us to access the money, we need to send them a notice that we are accepting the money, and it needed to be signed by every member of the school committee with our submission. I want to thank everybody. Every signature is in hand. We have not sent the document out yet. We were waiting for tonight's vote, but it is signed and ready to go pending the results of tonight's vote. Basically, we're just saying, yes, we accept the $14,388 grant. And as soon as we have the paperwork, we're going to fill it out so we can get reimbursed for the machines that we bought for the Wawaloom classrooms to maintain the air exchange requirement in the winter time, because keeping the windows open is going to become problematic.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve, acknowledge the agreement with the grant conditions for the SBA COVID-19 Capital Fund in the amount of $14,388 for Exeter West Greenwich Regional School District?
So moved, Donovan.
Second?
Second.
Second, Cheryl. Okay, all those in favor? Terry?
Donovan, aye.
Diane? Amy? Amy, you're on mute. I will come back to Amy. Cheryl?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
I vote aye also. I'm just waiting for Amy. Trying to see if she raised her hand or.
I think I cut out for 2 seconds. Did you call me?
Yeah, vote on the letter. Is it aye or nay?
Oh yeah, I
Okay,
couldn't
thank
hear
you.
you.
Everyone voted aye, so the motion carries.
Thanks. Robin will send that out either tomorrow or first thing Thursday morning, which is the due date. I appreciate it.
Okay, under unfinished business, we have the October 1 enrollment. Amy, if you want to ask your question as soon as they explain that.
I'll provide an update on the enrollment for the committee if it suits them. We had no feedback from Exeter regarding the student count, or enrollment. So I'm gathering that they're okay with that. They're usually, right on with that. So that's fine. West Greenwich is, there were 4 students that they had identified. And I think we have resolved 3 that will remain on West Greenwich rolls, and 1 we're still trying to determine where that family is residing and what rights they're entitled to. And when I mean rights, are they entitled to attend EWG, or are they in fact not homeless and should be, at the school where they're currently residing, enrolled in the district where they're currently residing. So there's not going to be a lot of movement in the percentages, that's for sure. There's nothing major there.
Okay, that's good.
And Lee, I can address the question about enrollment of out-of-district students in Exeter West Greenwich. We actually, I forgot the number that we budgeted, but we are actually higher than what was budgeted. We had a couple of late additions. We have not lost any students as a result of the situation that we're in. They're all attending, and we are collecting tuition from the sending districts. We actually have students coming to us now from 3 different districts. Last year, they were all from Coventry. Now we have 3 districts that are sending students to us.
Nice,
Good.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question that might be related to that?
Go ahead.
Circling back to the curriculum director's report and the disappointing news about the career and tech ed update, how will that affect our projected revenues for those students and any investment that we have in the curriculum for those students?
No, the students that we are currently collecting or that we've currently enrolled are enrolled in one of the 3 programs that is state approved already.
Okay.
So the ag science, the fine arts, and the computer science programs.
Okay.
Biotech is really next on our list, and that would simply generate another opportunity for students to come to us for. So it's not going to impact the students that are currently present. We still will accept additional students. We actually already have 2 families that we're talking to who are wishing to enroll for next year. They want to get their names on the list for next year in one of those 3 approved programs. We are going to move forward with biotech as soon as we can. It will just be an additional opportunity. It won't impact enrollment or current revenues.
Okay, and Jim and/or Marie, this is a statewide cease on new CTE programs. It's not singled out to our district, correct?
That is correct. And when I pushed back a little bit at the state level about our disappointment with not opening the application, which was supposed to occur in October, the response was kind of soft-toed it a little bit and backpedaled a little bit and said, well, if we do open the application process, it wouldn't be until the spring. And they said, quite frankly, we don't have the staff to review the applications, and we want to use a different platform for submission of applications and review of applications. But that, again, was disappointing to hear. So I'll continue to keep you updated if, in fact, RAI does say that they're going to open the application process. So we have
Thank you.
3. We actually have 3 ready to go. So biotech, culinary, and music.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of other stressors right now, but it certainly doesn't seem like the state is prioritizing career and tech education. That will lose an entire year for any student that would be interested. I know it takes time to get programs off the ground, but 3 platforms in as many years.
Yeah.
We're all having staffing situations. It's just a sacrifice that should not be made for whatever those 2 cents mean. I just think that it's a real loss for our students that could have had another opportunity, and it really is the legitimate loss of a year of opportunity.
I'll continue to express our displeasure, and now I can say that it's not just myself and my superintendent, but also school committee member. Very
Yes.
disappointed.
Thank you. If there's anything else that you need, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Thanks, Cheryl.
Okay. 2020-21 reentry planning updates.
So I really just have one new item. I was on a call today with the Department of Health and the Department of Education. We were informed today that the schools are going to be expected to take over the role of contact tracers for school-based cases. And we already are doing a lot of the work to collect information, collect seating charts, that kind of thing. There are some areas that need to be discussed. They're looking for us to sign attestation forms when we send over information. That seems like a very legal document to sign. We are not healthcare providers. It certainly is a concern. So we are pushing back on that element of it. I'm sure there'll be additional discussion about that, but the direction that we heard today is that because the Department of Health is really behind in contact tracing and communicating back to school departments based on the increase in cases. The solution is that the schools will become the contact tracers for school-based cases. So it's just a lot and a lot
Okay,
to take in.
So I have a question about that. So
I-
how is the state and the Department of Health going to protect the school districts from HIPAA? Because technically, you're providing information that's medical associated with a student. And that law prohibits it.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. I also don't know the answer to the question about liability.
That's the big one.
We have no
That's the big one.
liability protection. So if we provide, to the best of our ability, all the information that we have and come to find out something was missed, are we going to be held liable? Again, I am not comfortable taking on that responsibility without any protections whatsoever. I'm not a healthcare provider. I don't work for the Department of Health. I just don't feel comfortable, and I'm not allowing my principals to sign any form, any attestation form that's going to put their professional lives on the line either. We'll provide information, but I'm super concerned about liability issues. And my concern is shared by every other superintendent in the state. This was not news that we were expecting. We weren't given a heads up on it. It was kind of dropped on us today, right, Marie? Like out of the blue, just dropped on us.
It's something I think that maybe Mike and Andrew can help us with.
We're looking into it already. This isn't exclusive to EWG. This is pretty much statewide. There are some districts that are currently taking a stab at it, and were before this came down. I don't know if anything can be gleaned from that. I think I shared Jim's concern. I think the liability is the bigger one. I mean, you're using people who don't have any experience with it in fields that they are not professionals in, and you're asking them to do under already stressful conditions another highly sensitive and important job. So, I mean, we'll see. I know Andrew's been looking at it. He heard through the grapevine that this was coming down. He heard last night. So he's been looking at it already this morning, and I'm sure he'll be in contact with Jim if he hasn't already.
I know the RISA lawyer is all over this as well. And it'll be a subject that we talk about with the governor's office at that meeting that we have next week as well.
Sounds good. I wouldn't do anything until you've had those discussions and you get some legal advice. Just my opinion anyway.
I'm with you.
That's a real manpower lift too.
It's a huge manpower lift.
That assumes that everybody, it cooperates, and people are not cooperative or calm. It's going to take time and effort. This is like,
I mean, even communication. I think in the educational setting, it doesn't always. You get the email. It's just personally, I get an email. I get so many emails from my kids' 3 schools that I don't get to them right away, and just even getting timely information back from parents is. I mean, we'll see.
Big challenge.
Yep.
I'm not even sure how effective the whole contact tracing is. I understand that they're behind. That I recently tested positive, and with my physician, she said, don't expect to hear from the health department for at least 2 weeks, and you may not hear from them at all because they're so behind on contact tracing. So you're done with your quarantine, you're back in circulation, regardless of who's been traced, who's been contacted, who has been notified that they've possibly been exposed. Now, to then divert that responsibility to an agency altogether that already is beyond limits for challenges, I think is wholly irresponsible. That's not where it belongs. And HIPAA is just the least of it. But I'm very much opposed.
think they're clearly grasping at straws. Clearly, I mean.
Who was that last spoke? Who was that on the committee that last spoke?
Terry.
It's Terry, Paul.
All right. Did you say you tested positive, Terry?
Yes, sir.
I hope you get well very soon.
I am. I'm better. I'm back to work with a mask.
Okay. All right.
Cheryl has her hand raised.
Okay, Cheryl, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just didn't lower it. You kind of answered the question, Jim. It was about the liability issues.
Okay, thanks.
I don't think this is a good idea at all. It's too much, and you can't. It's so difficult to trace everything, everywhere everyone's been. It's a monumental task. It really is, and you have enough to worry about. They have enough on their plate. Just crazy.
Mhm.
My 2 cents.
I agree.
I'm glad that you share my opinion because I was really, really taken aback by today's conversation. Like I'm overwhelmed by the thought that that's even potentially a responsibility that I own.
And the staff would have to attest to information by way of an affidavit when they don't even know if the information that they are receiving and collecting is
It's accurate.
truthful, complete, fabricated. It's ludicrous, and it is not part of education.
This is a whole HR skill set of dealing with people like who may not be very happy that their child has been exposed to someone with COVID. You know what I mean? It's like and that stuff just spirals right up to box number 3 on my screen, which is Jim. It just spirals right up there, and it's like this is just crazy.
Well, and also, Bob, it's the other thing is the kids, the confidentiality piece, and Gina Raimondo even she admitted that her main contact tracer was getting yelled at and sworn at on the phone. So that's another piece to add into it. And I mean, I have to say, some of the high school kids, when they found out, they missed parts of Spirit Week or games, they're seniors, they missed a lot. There was a little bit of bullying going on behind the scenes because they were mad at the kids. It wasn't their fault that they got tested and, tested positive, but the kids they're really angry at each other. It has not been pretty. So it's just too much.
Has there been any more discussion on the RIPEC report, Jim? While we are still on reentry planning, since they came out and they stated in that RIPEC report how they were discouraged by the various, the variety of the reopening plans, and they had to add the comment where they think that it ought to be, one state school district.
There has really not been a lot of conversation around that topic. I think we've addressed it. It's really hard to look at the state and say everybody should be the same because we're not. We are not. We have very different circumstances, very different conditions, very different capacities, building sizes. There are so many variables that impact our ability to do things that others may or may not be able to do. So as soon as we start bringing those things up, it's hard. It's really hard to. It's really hard to ignore the fact that a statement that we should all be the same is even a viable statement. So to me, it's kind of died out a little bit. The conversation around that has really died out.
Well, I hope it does die out. That's why I asked the question whether or not there's been any more discussion, because I suspect that there will be.
Nothing substantive yet.
Okay. Good. All right. Capital project update, bond discussion, Bob.
Yep. So you heard about the Wavalloom. So that, again, we're just waiting on that. There was some, we submitted the revised stage 2. This was the I shouldn't say revised, but after review by RIDE of the stage 2 submittal on September 15th, they asked for some, additional information, which is pretty standard pro forma, just updating a few things. But then they did include, they wanted to see the HVAC system with in a COVID element to it. So what it would take to make them, you know, I don't want to say COVID compliant because that's not what it is, but it would address that type of airborne, you know, virus in the system. There's a bunch of, there's not a bunch, there's a couple of different ways to do it. One is like an ionization. One is, you know, I think it's kind of like with light.
Yeah, UV light.
UV light. So so they were looking for that, and then they were looking for the acoustical engineer report for the auditorium at the junior senior high school. So we had that work performed, and the total to do the acoustics and the add the element to address the virus that would be airborne in the HVAC system, that upped the total to about just over $400,000 cost estimates. So we had enough wiggle room because the approval by the two towns and the school committee was 17.8 million for the bond. So we're well within it. So doing the projects for the Wawaloon Boil and the safety projects this year really helped us out. Remember, the school committee took those on and did those with capital as the last projects for for the existing MOA for 2021. So that's all fine. I mean, it's a good news, bad news. It's just like, you know, it's going to cost us more money, but we have the room for that. I was going to say something else, but it just went right out of my head. So now we just wait. Oh, the next thing that we do need to do is, and it was kind of, we needed to wait to see how the election played out, but we are going to have to reach out to the General Assembly, our representatives, and let them know that there is enabling legislation that has been submitted and that these are the projects. So they're at least know that we're at that level. So I don't know who we want that to come from. But
Well, I suspect it has to come from the building committee and the school committee. So I imagine we have to draw up a letter.
Right.
Have the chair of the school committee and the chair of the building committee and
off it goes. Okay.
the administration sign it and send it to the appropriate folks. Be
Yeah.
my guess.
Good. Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty much it. And I know, so I was talking with our bond counsel, and that's Loch Lord, and it's just been a feverish pace up there because of the finances and people trying to get, you know, trying to get projects in and find out what the status is and secure funding or a commitment from funding prior to, you know, the budget being settled. So it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride, I feel, but we've hit our marks, and all we can do is just, you know, keep doing our due diligence. So
When do you think you'll have a ballot date?
I don't know, Paul. The general, it's kind of like a chess match up there right now. Like the General Assembly isn't going to, I think they're waiting to get they're waiting to see what happens nationally with state aid, in particularly education aid in our instance. And so it's just a waiting game. All we can do is keep hitting our marks and hope that they don't ask us to add to the project. You know?
Right. It's still at 17 million. You just don't have a ballot date, right?
Don't have a ballot date.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. Important dates and meetings. Is there any need for executive session this evening? Jim?
No, no.
Okay. All right, important dates and meetings, November 24, 2020, a school committee meeting. Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 is a school committee meeting, and that right now is the scheduled organizational meeting. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Just 1 second, Lee, on the organizational meeting, is that going to be a virtual meeting?
I don't know. I don't,
All right.
it may be up in the air too, Paul, because I don't know, the towns have to wait till the certification of the vote before they can give the oaths of office for the newcomers. So I don't know what's going to happen there, because that's not
All
going
right.
to happen in West Greenwich until after the 8th of December.
Sure. Okay.
Or at least that's my
I'm good.
understanding as of right now.
Board of Elections has tentatively set out a schedule of November 30th as being the meeting where they intend to certify the election. So, and by then, right now, gatherings are limited to 10. And with the numbers the way they are in Rhode Island right now, by the time November 30th or September 7th, their 8th rolls around, who knows if it will still even be 10.
Yeah, I'm under the impression, based on some comments that were made last week, that on Thursday of this week, there will be an additional round of restrictions that are released publicly. I don't know what they are, but
Right.
I'm under the impression that we're going to hear some more restrictions Thursday.
Thursday, yep.
I mean, is there any room for any more? Is it school-based, you mean? School-based restrictions?
I don't know, Cheryl. I think she has not moved us backwards in a phase yet officially.
Right. True.
So that's a possibility. I anticipate hearing more about the holiday break and travel. I anticipate that's a possibility. I think that there's a lot of talk about sports and the possibility of additional restrictions there. I don't really know. I really have no heads up or know for sure of where, what categories any new restrictions would fall under. But I think the message has been given that we should be expecting some. And I don't think they're going to be easy ones.
Wow. I volunteer for the shot. I'm done with this nonsense.
It's a lot.
Alrighty, anything else? Motion to adjourn,
Donovan, so moved.
second.
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
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 All right,
Aye.
all right, sounds good. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Night.